Hey, Cosmic Seekers, welcome back to another Tarot Deep Dive. Yeah, we're digging in with the Reverse King of Swords, the card of manipulation, that cold logic, that mental overload. Yeah, this card has a lot of different meanings for me over my years. Typically, I pull this as an Aquarius card. With all my tarot decks intertwined, I have so many different Kings of Swords cards. I wanted to really associate each card with a zodiac sign. And so what I ended up doing over the years, I started to kind of associate these, but we'll get into that here in a moment. If you haven't been with me before, I am Cosmic Boogeyman. We're taking some time. We're looking at these cards. We're reversing them. We looked at the uprights already. Please do yourselves a huge favor. Take a look at the playlist. Come back and let me know what you thought. But this card is really that manipulative authority, the rigid thinking. Could be misusing the intellect. We have the sword here representing that. But the upright here is that master strategist, the leader who rules with wisdom, the clarity, the truth teller. When reversed, it comes in with that icy, cold, intellectual, the one who's ruthless, makes decisions, but doesn't really care, no empathy. The power is used to control rather than uplift. If we're overanalyzing stuff, that's this. If we're not feeling that, it's a problem. Facing that manipulation or intellectual mind struggling is an issue with everybody. It doesn't matter what sign you come into. But what happens with us is we might feel pressured, especially with this reversal. This might make you feel like you might be having a tough time making the wrong decision. What we need to really do is we need to get pressure to make the right decision, or feel like we're getting pressure to do the right thing. The reality of this whole thing is the Reverse King is just helping you reclaim your mental balance. It's helping you break free from that controlling influence, the trusting your own wisdom as it would be. The Reversed King is teaching you that the mental exhaustion, the rigid thinking, that overthinking, the intellect that you carry is really, it's amazing, but it can be used manipulatively. In its upright form, the card teaches you about clear judgment, integrity, the wisdom, the decision maker. That one. The reverse says, hey, don't be so cold about everything. Don't misuse that logic, right? Heavy is the head that wears the crown, as it would be. Are we letting that logic override your emotions? Are you stuck in a cycle of overanalyzing? Are you dealing with someone who is overly critical or manipulative? That could be this. If this card is appearing anywhere you're reading, keep note of that, because you might need to reconnect with your intuition and balance that intellect with the heart. As we can see, we're trying to protect that center chakra here. The sword is facing down, and we just went over how that Queen of Swords is, and if you haven't seen it, please do yourselves a favor, check out the Queen of Swords reversal. But we went over that, and we just were talking about how the confusion, the misuse of power, but this upright version of the king would give us that, I would say, almost like the clarity, the truth, the wisdom, and that's what comes in when we have the Queen of Swords. But pointing downward, it's all distorted judgment, being manipulative, inability to think or see things clearly, struggling, maybe doubt sets in. How are you feeling about mental energy? Are you feeling drained? Is a situation not where you want it to be? Is intellect being used against you? That could be. The reverse sword asks us to think about, what's that cold logic being used for? Is it the truth that we're looking for and it's blocking us? Because there's definitely some major energy going on here. We have the birds, we have this strength, we have this, what we're coming into is this crown energy. It's the authority without that compassion. That crown energy gives us that moment of understanding it's the authority without compassion in the reversals, really what it comes down to. The king's crown just symbolizes power, right? It symbolizes the leadership, the wisdom. In the upright, it's easy. Reversal, abusive leadership, the controlling, the intellectual control over the heart. Maybe you feel powerless in the face of all this rigidity, but this here, the crown was going to fall off. It's temporary. Maybe you're being too hard on yourself. That could be too, or others. Someone's facing judgment and they're like, I don't know, this doesn't feel correct. Someone's refusing to listen to reason. You're saying, listen to me, listen to me. and you really know it. I mean, that could be too. The reverse king is like reminding us in this sense that we need to understand everything, not just use, you know, our sword here, the intelligence, the know-all. Because once we get these clouds coming in, that's mental overload. That's the emotional distancing. Those stormy clouds, they represent the mental energy, the complex thoughts. Reversal is just saying we're overthinking, we're getting the mental fatigue, or we're even shutting down due to the pressure of all of that. So we got to be careful. We have to be real careful. Struggling to balance that logic, you know. What is encouraging you to do better? You know, is it your intuition? I would say probably. We have the intelligence here, but we want to make sure the intuition is also being promoted. The throne here is not bad because an upright, it's stability, it's structure, it's almost like strategy meets mastery or intellectual mastery even, because the reversal is like a barrier, because all of a sudden you're seeing this isolation, this detachment, this cold energy, this stubborn energy, this refusal to even change their perspective, saying no, this is how it is. And then when we close ourselves off with this refusal or reversal or kind of this disconnected energy, the emotions come in really questioning what we're going to do here, because the reversal is asking us to embrace the adaptability. The warmth in the decision making is what makes us great. You know, we have to be careful. So what I like to do is I like to kind of connect these cards to astrology. And if you're having a hard time, you're only pulling off one tarot deck. It could be any air sign: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I personally like to assign this right to the Aquarius, the Queen of Swords right to the Libra, and then the Knight of Swords to the Gemini. Not that there's anything less. I just say, hey, give me this, because then it gives me a breakdown. Let's understand these cards a little bit more. And then I get more of a distinct reading. You know what I'm saying? However, I can do the confirmations with the multiple readings. Multiple cards, multiple readings. And that's what you need to do, is that you need to use that intellect that you have, the strategy, that communication. And that's what this card represents, is that Aquarius energy that I come in with. Like, so I have to associate with this as Aquarius, because if the reversal comes in, it's we can manifest manipulation. Like, no, you're looking for this, because you could. But the harsh judgment comes in if we overanalyze everything, and I'm not trying to analyze anything. I'm just trying to assign meaning before I even start. Let's set the rules. Let's set the ground rules. Before we start the game, what are the ground rules? Because everything is pointing towards the paralysis. I call it analysis paralysis sometimes. The reverse king is telling you, hey, make choices with wisdom, compassion, not being critical or even rude. This is like this is the 14th card, right? This is the 14th card. This is the 14th card, which then breaks down to the number 5. So, especially in this situation, this is that instability, the unpredictability, the radical, the ruthlessness that comes along with that energy of the Aquarian, right? It's adventurous. There's a freedom-loving energy, the sensibility, the anything happens. But the 14 is really about that transformation, the maturity that comes along. It's that it suggests the rigid thinking, but that struggling to adapt is also part of that rebellious energy, because if you have this card, you're pulling it because you might know you already went through the discipline, you already went through all of the energy. You might have already gone through this manifestation process and say, I know how to do it. And maybe you're trying to not use this energy in a bad way, but this energy here is saying we're using it to this knowledge to adapt. But we have to watch here, because it's reminding you to use the true intelligence. The reverse king is saying that the true intelligence is knowing when to listen and when to speak. When I look at the spheres of influence, I look at the Eastern, Western philosophies, and I try to look at all of the influences of the cards, cultural, spiritual. The reversal here tells me it's intellectual arrogance, as it would be called, or ignoring the intuition. So in Kabbalistic teachings, I see that as kind of like, what is this? It's that using the knowledge for selfish gain, right? What we need to do is we need to remind ourselves we manifest our reality through our thoughts, through our actions. But if our mind is clouded or with fear or self-sabotage, our outer world will reflect this. The reverse swords it's just reminding you. Do you need help getting clarity? Because you're reinforcing the fear and the rigidity when you come in with this card. And not you, but the you inside, the one that needs help to just know it's okay. Your third eye chakra just needs a little healing, possibly. Maybe get some Reiki going. Restore that clarity. The mental blocks get lifted. All you need is some inner balance. Listen to some 852 frequency. And that helps clear the overthinking. Boost the balance of the logic, the harmony, the empathy. But we don't want to get mentally stuck. That's what it is. We want to regain focus, regain control. Trust your intuition. That's what this is. We see this as saying, hey, first and foremost, you need to trust your intuition, because if this is coming in, it's saying, how is this coming in your reading? You don't want to have this in your reading. It's not like a great card for that. So we need to say, the guides or whoever you're talking to when you pull, they're coming in and they're reminding you that you have to be careful, because if you lose that connection to your intuition, what do you have? But be mindful of that control, because if we're overly rigid and saying this means that, that's why I said this is why I like to apply this as an Aquarius. But it could be a Gemini, it could be a Libra or Aquarius. So you have to be very flexible with your guides, because you can't be too controlling. The universe will give you what it gives you. It's urging you to release the need to dominate every single situation. That's what the reversal is reminding us. Balancing the intellect with the heart. If you become detached from emotions, the card's going to remind you that the true wisdom includes compassion, connection. The wisdom's not just knowing, it's understanding. It's balancing the intellect with the emotional intelligence. It's controlling without the compassion, the isolation that happens. Because those words are going to shape your world. You're going to have to speak with care, and it's almost like, if you're caring about somebody, what is this? Because those words matter. Be careful, because whatever you're speaking, it's affecting it. So when you're speaking with care, you're really trying to how do I say this just succinctly? It's the way I always talk about it with this card here, especially the King of Swords, because they have the knowledge and they have the two birds here, and they have people following them and listening. Is true leaders are meant to inspire, not dictate. Listening is a powerful tool. Not just standing up there barking at people, yelling. Overthinking really can lead to stagnation, so you have to be careful. Don't get stuck in that rut. Don't get stuck in that loop. You don't have to prove your intelligence to be valuable. That's not the goal here. You didn't come here to say, let me show you how smart I am. Right? So stop overanalyzing every little situation. You don't have to prove yourself to a partner, to a neighbor, to a friend, to anyone that's in your purview. You don't owe them anything. So even if you have a couple people on your mind and you're trying to get clarity on the clouds, and you have happiness at the root here. You already planted a couple of these seeds. You can see the trees are planted. You already have this. You gotta be careful, because you don't want to cut those trees down. It's teaching you that wisdom must be balanced with warmth. We can't be too cold. We got the blue right here, right? Hot and cold is that blue and the red, right? So you have to really, really think about that, because intellect without heart only leads to that isolation. You can see how the birds are far off in the distance, and this king is by themselves. So if you've been feeling mentally overwhelmed, or if you pull this card and it's that moment of questioning, it's time to release that rigid thinking, embrace a softer, wiser approach, because that's what this card teaches us. You know what I'm saying? It really teaches us something different about ourselves. As always, my friends, if you guys enjoyed this content, please do me a favor. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Cosmic Collective members, I will see you on the exclusive live events. Me and you. That's it. And if you haven't seen the other content, please do me a favor. Check out Beyond the Veil, the other teaching videos. I have more content coming out. As always, you're welcome to join us on Discord or to even just join me on the other social media platforms. I'm looking forward to seeing you and meeting you on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. I hope you are going to be safe, and I will see you on the next video. You guys be good. I'll talk to you later. Peace.